when managers, bosses, leaders, whatever you want to call us or each other, when we tell our people they need to do something and we leave it at that, that's not leadership. So when we tell them that they need to do something and then we back it up with why, and we back it up with a reasoning, we back it up with true information that will actually show that if they do what we're saying, it's going to increase their chance to sell a car, to make money, to get to whatever their goal is, then that should at least hopefully resonate in their head and provide a reason to give more effort. I can't stand when managers just point and yell and badmouth and curse and then walk away.
Yeah.
It's like, well, who the fuck are you? Excuse my language.
No.
What are you talking to me like that for?
Welcome to another episode of The Drive. Tune in for everything you need to know to stay in the know regarding the automotive industry. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Say what you want about Musk. He's a genius. You can agree or not agree with what he's doing and how he does things, but he's the real deal. I'm sorry. Even with this truck.
That's right.
I think the glass was on purpose myself.
Honestly, I think what it was is, that especially with the truck, I think it was
that's what I mean.
The people that are going to buy that are going to be the early adopters.
Oh, absolutely.
The design and the direction of the truck, it's just to prove that people will buy it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, how many orders did he have? 200,000 or something?
Something like that.
Absolutely
ridiculous.
In 24 hours?
Yeah, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah.
That's just insane.
Okay, so Dustin,
yes.
Everybody out there that's watching and listening right now and don't know about you, so let's do that real quick. Let's do the 2-minute origin story that is Dustin, kind of how you got started in the business and where you're working right now.
Okay, so I am 33 right now. I played minor league baseball when I was done with school. I went back only a year of minor league baseball when reality hit me in the face and I wasn't really all that good. I thought I was, but I wasn't. So reality struck and I had to go back to attempt to finish school and get a degree, which I still didn't finish either.
Nice.
So never really got that. But when I was done, I was working for the school that I went to, Pace University in Westchester County, New York, just north of New York City.
Yeah.
And I was working for the facilities and I was homeless. I was living in my car.
Wow. Okay.
1999 Mercury Cougar.
1990. I actually remember that hatchback.
Badass. Yeah. Loved it. Yeah. Absolutely. I absolutely loved the car when my parents got it for me.
V6. I remember that.
Yeah, V6. It was automatic. That's the only thing that I wish I would have had stick. But listen, I had a car, and we didn't have much growing up. We didn't have money. I don't know what money was. I still don't at some point. At some level, but. Found an online advertisement for guaranteed of $50,000 your first 12 months. Didn't care what it was. Had absolutely no care in the world. I said, I'll take it. I made a phone call, had an interview, got hired in the Curry Automotive Group, which is also in Westchester County, as a salesperson. And then from there, I just listened and soaked in everything I possibly could from anybody that I knew more than me, which was everyone at that time. And I just kept going, moving up the ranks, did a little bit in finance, hated it, was not for me. And then I got an opportunity to run a store about 6-7 years ago in New Jersey, a Chrysler store, and took that. And then we just moved back to where we are now, upstate New York, 2 years ago, because my wife and I have 2 young boys, 5 and 3 years old, and we were down in New Jersey kind of by ourselves, no family, no help. We hadn't gone on a date in 3-4 years. It was bad. So we moved back, and now we're rocking Williams, Toyota, and Kia in Elmira, New York, and we couldn't be happier.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Little bit of a weird story.
So, no, that's cool though. I mean, though I find in this industry we all kind of have a weird story how we got into it, right? I mean, there were some people that were born into it. There was, for me, I had absolutely no intentions of getting in this industry whatsoever. Literally, I had a buddy of mine reach out to me and go, "Hey Jay, you like selling things, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'm pretty good at selling things." I remember the first thing I sold was I would sell baseball cards on the road with my dad in the early '80s, right? And that was just
harder than cars.
Yeah, that's what you did, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I love selling things. One of my first my first businesses, I had Big J's Pit Stop. And
wow.
I grew up with the drag strip. I love drag cars, love racing. Look, if it's got a spark plug and a steering wheel, count me in. I'm easy that way. And I sold Hot Wheels and die-cast collectible cars every weekend at there. And funny thing is, it wasn't even my inventory. I convinced another hobby shop to give it to me on consignment. So all I had to pay for was literally just the tables and a tent.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's so. I mean, I just hustled. I just hustled. Yeah, exactly. I just hustled like that.
Wow.
But I find like in this industry, we're like a bunch of like misfit toys.
Oh,
you know, like it's so fun and cool to see kind of how people got into the business, and it's so interesting.
Absolutely. I don't know that I've run into anybody that literally has ever told me, at least, when I was 10 or 8, I just said, you know what, I want to be in the car business.
Yeah,
if they had no family ties.
Yeah, exactly. If they didn't have family ties.
No one.
I don't think anybody grows up going, I'm going to sell cars.
Yeah, right. Nobody. But it gives an outlet that most businesses don't give people.
Yes.
And an opportunity and a chance that's why I love it.
Well, it's the bartender thing. Or no, sorry, it's not the bartender thing. It's the barbershop. It's the barbershop type thing, right? I'm renting a table. Like, that's it. Like, the dealership's providing, they're doing some marketing efforts. They got a product. I got to pay a percentage, obviously, to them so they can cover all that stuff. I get to maintain, this other 20-30% of the gross profit over here for me. I'm literally just renting a desk.
That's correct.
And then, I think the people that really succeed in this industry are the ones that approach it like that, and they approach it as they're their own boss.
Yes.
The dealership's there, they'll do their thing, but at the end of the day, I'm my own boss. All right, the experience that I give to my customers are going to be defined by me.
Oh, no doubt. And to your point, I think that it's our job as either sales managers, service managers, general manager, even more importantly, to allow that outlet to the customer, to your employees, to run the business as if it were their own. Don't handcuff your employees, which I've seen a lot of in my time.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like that, I've seen more of these handcuffing going on.
Yes.
Like I was talking to a guy earlier, and I had a dealership that literally blocked Facebook from every single computer in the dealership. And I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, thanks.
Like, he goes, and he just assumed that they were just going to go on there and be screwing around. It's like, well, they may be doing that if you're not training them to do something else.
Right.
But
that's where your customers are.
Yeah, your customers are there. I mean, what do we spend socially, like 3 to 4 hours a day in social media? The average is something crazy like that, right? Yeah. Some people maybe more, obviously some people less. But I think that's what it is. It's like, how do we get our salespeople back to that place where they have ownership of their results? Right now, it's like you talk to all these salespeople and they're complaining about the results. They're complaining that there's not enough people walking through the door, and it's like the dealership's responsibility to fix this. And it's like, the only reason that you would think that way is because you don't have a owner's mentality.
That's correct. That's correct. We hit on, and I hit on so often with our ladies and gentlemen, that don't you dare start to complain unless you close at 100%.
Yeah.
If you close at 100% of any lead, showroom traffic, internet lead, phone up, whatever it may be, if you're closing at 100%, then you might have a gripe if you still only sell 8, 10 cars, 12 cars.
That's right.
But until you're to that point, how about you get better?
Yeah.
How about you fill your own pipeline? If you're complaining about natural traffic, we service a hell of a lot more cars than we see people coming through the front door. Why are you not living back there? Yeah.
I remember when I was a salesperson, and like I didn't even know that I wasn't supposed to do this or something like that, but I would take my own business cards and just go drive them all. And if there was a car that I wanted it on trade because I knew I could flip it, I want that truck. That's exactly what I want. Windshield wiper it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my dealership got a call and they're like, someone complained about it.
Okay.
And they came and told me, like, I can't do that. I'm like, well, you don't provide me enough opportunities, so what do you want me to do?
Well, if that's the case and you're giving literally outside the box thinking at 100% effort all the time, well, then you might have an issue or a legitimate gripe. But again, I think you're right. I think some people are just overall, and I'm not talking about our people, but I'm talking about just period. I've seen and ran into these people. They're just entitled.
That's what it is. That's the word I'm looking for. It's entitlement. And
yes.
I don't know. You've been in the business for a while.
Yep.
I don't know when that happened. I feel like it's just happened in the last 10 years.
Well, that's about how long I've been in. So.
Somewhere in between that time, something shifted. I don't know what. I don't know. We stop, as salespeople, stop thinking of our desk as our own business, and we got to this level. Maybe it's because we just had those few years. It was just good.
That's exactly what's going through my head right now. Yeah. I think that's probably what it is because we get so fat in a period of time where it seems easy.
Yeah.
But when it's easy, meaning just droves of customers everywhere, there's buyers everywhere, you can't make any mistake, everyone's buying a car. It's those times where we should still be focusing on the missed opportunities. Even when, if you're so busy, it's very hard for anybody to still want to get better.
Yes.
Because it's so busy, it's like, well, these last 3 customers didn't buy a car, but that's okay because there's another 3 behind them that are buying.
Yep.
Well, no, we only look at, in our business, I think we only look at missed opportunities when it's dead.
Yeah.
And we only look at missed opportunities when it's January in Toronto or New York and it's -1, like we were just talking about, and there's snow on the ground. That's the only time we focus in on each and every opportunity and do whatever it takes to sell a car. But then when it's busy, we don't give it that kind of effort because we know there's just buyers lined up behind them. So if you go a long enough stretch and business is great and your wallets are going out to here, we call it left hip national in the dealership, then...
I call it full belly syndrome.
Okay.
You know what it is? Because like right after Thanksgiving, you finish with that meal and you're like, okay,
yeah,
I'm good.
I'm never eating again. Food's terrible.
I'm sitting here. I'm not going to push. I'm not going to push. Like,
Amen.
So
Amen.
I call it full belly syndrome.
100%. That's exactly, yes. If I had to pinpoint something to your point, I'd say that's probably what it is.
Now, you hit on something I thought was really kind of important is efforts. Right?
Yep.
I love this industry. I do, and sometimes I think people watch my videos and they think I get, maybe I'm too harsh on people, but it comes from a place of passion. I'm not just telling people that, we suck at this. It's like, no, it's coming from passion. And I think this is something that you can relate with being doing baseball for such a long time, right?
Yes.
It's like, in baseball, you're valued as a team member, not necessarily always by your results, but by your efforts.
Yes.
Your efforts are more important than your results.
Absolutely. Especially in the lower levels. Absolutely.
Right. I mean, we don't have that in the dealership. We spend an exuberant amount of time talking about results, and then the percentage of time talking about efforts, again, it's like usually like really quick and passing. It's like, you need to increase your test drive ratio so we can do, it's like, but it's no, let's focus more on the efforts because the results will come.
Yes, and that's a big point too, man. I appreciate you having me, by the way. I didn't even say that. Seriously, I really appreciate it. It's humbling to me. This is great. This is a good time, good opportunity for us to kind of chop it up. I think that when managers, bosses, leaders, whatever you want to call us or each other, when we tell our people they need to do something and we leave it at that, that's not leadership. So when we tell them that they need to do something and then we back it up with why, and we back it up with a reasoning, we back it up with true information that will actually show that if they do what we're saying, it's going to increase their chance to sell a car, to make money, to get to whatever their goal is, then that should at least hopefully resonate in their head and provide a reason to give more effort. I can't stand when managers just point and yell and badmouth and curse and then walk away.
Yeah.
It's like, well, who the fuck are you? Excuse my language.
No.
What are you talking to me like that for?
You're never going to do any better. Your team's never going to perform any better if that's what you're going to do it.
No.
I mean, we really do need to take a look. And not only, and I love baseball. I really do. I don't follow like a particular team. I just love baseball because I love strategy.
Yeah.
And I find with like hockey and basketball, everything's in football, things are happening so fast. I can't get it. I can't see it all set up.
Yeah.
With baseball, I can see it set up. Right.
Slower pace.
You got someone coming up to the plate. They're a left-handed batter. All right. You start seeing people shift. You start seeing them move around. You see the outfield start to come in a little bit. Maybe the infield push back a little bit, just depending on what it is. You might even switch out your pitcher just because of the type of batter that you have coming to play. So the strategy is happening in real time. And so I'm looking at that. It's like, as both salespeople and as managers, we really need to be more like a professional team, the way that we're organized.
1,000%.
You know, I mean, if you were batting, and it's funny in our industry, you know, we're okay with batting 250.
Right? Yeah.
But, you know, you're not going to stay on the team very long if you're batting 250. I know, that blows my mind, right? But even the guys that are, you know, say they're batting 400 or above, you know, they're still pushing.
Yes.
Like, there's no, you know, I don't know why we get to this level of like, all right, I'm closing at 30%. I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's just it, because usually the higher closing ratios, the higher gross profit on a per vehicle basis, they usually sell the most cars as well, because they're never satisfied.
Yeah. Well, it's because they're focusing on the efforts, they're not necessarily focusing on the results. They know if I continue to focus on my efforts, the results will come.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Like, if you want to be a better batter, then you focus on your efforts.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it's where your hips are, where your feet are,
it's
where
video,
it's all these things. It's all these little things that go into connecting with the ball better.
Absolutely, and I think part of what you're talking about in effort goes in the shifting in baseball with the position of the fielders, depending on who is walking up to the plate. I think the effort is actually done prior to.
Yes.
And to your point, the process isn't getting better, not looking for the result, but they're looking at past results as a spray chart of 60% of the time this guy hits over to the second base side, so they're going to shift another infield over there. So they're doing the efforts prior to him getting to the plate.
Yes.
We should be doing the efforts of getting better, role-playing, training, understanding our product, understanding what works in a process, what doesn't. So then when it comes game time, when the hitter gets into the batter's box, or when the customer's in front of him, we're ready. Then it becomes second nature.
I mean, think about this. Like, let's say if you were a baseball team, and obviously if you did this, you wouldn't be a professional team, but, you know, if you literally approached every hitter, we're using customer as a hitter here, all right, the same way, you're never going to win anything.
Very bad news.
Like, it's not going to be good,
Absolutely.
right? But for some odd reason in our industry, we develop a single process on how to sell a car or how to service a car, and just assume that's enough. But it's not.
I love it. That's a great point. I think the best, desk managers, that's a pretty cool place. Jesus, that's crazy. The best desk managers.
Have you been in Vegas before?
I have, but I've never seen Senor Frogs over here. Desking deals is an art.
Yes.
Holding gross profit is an art. Everything is not done based on, we have a customer, so this is the only way to do it.
Yeah.
When I'm desking deals, and I do from time to time, I enjoy that part of the business.
Yeah.
I just always had I just loved
the strategy side.
Yes.
It's so much fun.
And I don't get to do it as often as I used to. So sometimes I throw the GSM off the desk and I want to get involved because I just like it. But I need to know information, because what I'm going to give back to the salesperson is solely on what they have in front of them. And it's never identical to the last person.
Yep.
Never, because there's no they can be similar, but there's no two situations the same. You're absolutely right. You have to be adaptable, and you have to figure out what you got in front of you before you figure out where you're going.
But see, also to your point, being the desking manager, you also have to know the player that you're playing with.
Oh, amen.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. You're talking about the salesperson.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, you got to know
100%.
Right? That salesperson's bringing in, a deal, right?
Yes.
Okay, you can't treat every player as the exact same. Like, you know that person's going to be strong at this, they're going to be strong at that, they're going to, if you tell them to go out there, but see, I don't know, and I find this that in our operations we do this, we come up with a singular process on how we desk things, a singular process on how we sell a car to a customer, and then marketing, it gets even worse. It's like a single ad for every single customer out there. It's like, we're gonna push trucks this month. Okay, cool. We put an ad out there, and it's one ad. Like, that's going to be relevant to every single person out there. It blows my mind.
Yeah, all of a sudden, because you have too many old age inventory trucks or whatever the case is, that everyone's going to want them at the same time.
Yeah, customers are going to give a damn about that.
Right. No, they couldn't care less.
They couldn't care
Especially
less.
from the seat of their home. Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, there's just you're not going to gain any traction by pushing. What does that even mean?
So what does it look like to you? Because I think we've obviously identified the issue here is that we're not being audience specific in our efforts. And we're not being audience specific with our salespeople. We're not being audience specific with our customers, and we're not being audience specific in our training. I mean, we train them to sell a car. We train them to sell a car one way. That's it.
you're absolutely right, and I think you really brought up a point that I don't get spoken about enough. I don't think
so. I don't hear the topic much, right?
No, nor do I. I think you're really hitting some chords with me, because I didn't like the way. I'm okay with getting a lashing when I was moving up in the business. Being an athlete, I've gotten them plenty. Not everybody's okay with that.
Exactly.
People learn differently.
Yep.
Some are more hands-on, some are not.
And
some
your players are going to be like that.
That's what I'm getting at.
You got to understand that.
You're absolutely correct. Your salespeople are all different people. Your service writers, whatever avenue within the dealership you want to talk about, they're all different. They all take things differently. They all have different personality and characteristics. And we almost have to be, although we don't have a PhD in behind our name, but we almost have to be doctors of the psyche when we're dealing with our team, because you're 100% right. The way you talk to someone cannot be the same way you talk to your whole entire team.
We need to be more. We need to be a coach rather than a manager.
Absolutely.
And you manage. You don't manage people, and that's what I think it is. What you do is you manage the process. You let that process manage the people. Then you coach on the people's efforts.
Love it. Absolutely. You can't manage people.
No, it's like, have you ever tried to manage someone's efforts? Like, it's ugly looking. Because the way I sell a car is going to be different than the way you sell a car.
Absolutely.
So if you try to manage what that person says, it's like, no, here's the script.
Scripts. Yeah.
Go out there and use that script. It will sell you a car. It's like, I'm not you.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not going to maybe have that tonality, or I'm not going to have that confidence in those words, or maybe those words aren't in my vocabulary.
Yes.
I don't use them on a regular basis. You don't even know the context
of what it means.
It's going to come out really freaking weird if I say it.
1,000%. I didn't, when I was selling cars, once I got comfortable with selling cars, because I wasn't in the beginning, but once I kind of got things down a little bit, you could hear me from 3 states away, because I sold purely on emotion.
Yep.
I was not a product knowledge guy. I still am not. I was not an ins and outs of almost anything. I just told my customers when I first got to them, you're going to buy a car, maybe you're not.
Yeah.
The one thing I promise you is you and me are going to have some fun while we do this. And then we just laughed and we just played on emotion. And that's how I am naturally. But one of my top sales guys in the showroom floor now, I couldn't hear if I was sitting right next to him.
Yes.
But he's still an absolute beast.
Yeah. Oh.
In his own way.
In his own way.
Yes.
Everyone is unique. So, we're getting closer to understanding that every salesperson is unique. We got to take that same approach with our customers. Okay? We can't have a single sales process. There is no one size fits all here, right? I mean, let's think about this. I would say there's probably 3 primary reasons why a person's coming in to test drive a vehicle, right?
Okay.
Either they're coming in because they're researching it. And I still think there are people out there that, even though a lot of research is done online, people will still want to do some research inside.
Absolutely.
They want to feel it, they got to touch, they got to smell it. It's just who they are. They're shopping. They've done all their research online. They've nailed it down to 2 or 3 cars, and now it's like, just which one feels better?
Yes.
Again, emotion, right?
Yes.
And then there are people out there that, hey, they've leased 6 RAV4s. Their leases due, and they just want another RAV4.
Yeah, they don't care what the market says. They don't care about anything else. They just
like, I've been driving.
They know what they know.
I'm on my 3rd one. Why do I don't? Sure, just can you give me my 4th one? My lease is due.
Please. Yes. Yes, you're absolutely right. So to your point, are you going to take the 3rd scenario and drag someone through an hour and a half long process that literally is telling you, I've bought my last 4 cars, but you know my name, I service here every 3 months, every 6 months, I've been in here for 18 years, you know me.
Yep.
Why am I doing all this?
Yeah, I don't know. See,
that's a great point.
I love what Amazon did. It's like I go on Amazon now and it already knows I'm already logged into it, and there's just a buy now option. And
yes.
It's just so I don't have to go through the shipping. It already knows that it goes to shipping. It knows what address. It knows what credit card to use. It knows all that stuff.
Right.
You just hit one button, I'm done.
Yes, based on your buying habits, based on the way you've done business with them. You're absolutely right. We should do that. I don't know if there's a piece of software out there that can help us with this. I'm not sure. But
well, that's where digital retailing is coming into play, right? It's like, is there a lot of people that are willing to do that? No. But,
no, not now.
Not now, but, will there ever be a lot? I mean, we've been talking about we now call it digital retailing, but that direct consumer experience we've been talking about for like 10 years. So it's not totally new. Like the concept's not really new.
I don't like it. I don't think it'll ever overcome, well, at least in my lifetime, completely overcome.
Oh, I definitely don't think it will either.
The touch, feel, smell, because I think it's a little bit too large of a purchase. I mean, same with me with Amazon.
I think it just depends on the individual, right? Like for me, I will do it.
With a car? Well, you're in the business too.
I'm in the business. I go through cars every 2 years.
Yeah.
Or 18 months to 2 years. It's like it's easy for me just to just hit the button. We should have a GoPro going like that direction.
Forward?
Like what is?
Oh yeah, look at this truck. It's crazy how I saw literally like a 12-year-old kid with the cardboard signs that on both sides that you put over your neck. Yeah. It was a lit up, literally a digital sign for a strip club on the street over here the other day on the sidewalk. I was like, man, this is a 12-year-old dude. What the hell's going on?
I don't know. Man. That's the one thing about Las Vegas. It's just
you never know what you're
Sin City, right?
Yeah, right. 12-year-old kid.
12-year-old kid.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But you're back to what you're saying. Some will, you would.
Yeah.
But your situation. Everyone's situation is different. So that's the point. That's the point.
The whole point is that, we shouldn't pretend like we know the customer. All right. We should just literally be able to just ask the customer. Oh, you want to research? Great. We got a process for you. You want to shop? Great. We got a process for you. You want to buy something right now? Cool. We get you in and out here in 45 minutes.
I love it. The whole one of these buzzwords, it's been going on for probably a couple of years now, maybe 2-3 years, is transparency.
Yeah, I always think it's kind of a weird word, because transparency is not a thing. It's a byproduct of your actions.
That's correct. But that is, to me, as transparent as you can be.
Well, yeah.
What's your goal here? And we will answer anything that you need. We're here for you. You tell me what you want, and yes, we have a process for that.
So every once in a while, I do this actually for myself. Every once in a while, I go into a dealership pretending to buy a car.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah. And I'll call the GM or the DP and just let them know in advance. So I'm not wasting anybody's time. They know I'm coming. Obviously, the salesperson doesn't, right?
Yes.
I sat down with this one salesperson a few weeks ago, and I'm not lying to you. He actually pulled out a piece of paper and started to do a benefits, a needs and analysis with me. Really? I'm like, are you effing kidding me?
Right.
Like, I'm just like, really? This day and age, this is where you're going to go. Like, it's like, we're not qualifying me. I'm telling you the product I'm looking at. I'm looking at that Tundra right there, that SR5 package. Like, I even came in with a printout of the car.
Because I looked at a few different models. I built my own truck. I did all this other.
Like, I'm there.
Yeah. We don't need to start over
What are
from
we
scratch.
doing here, right? But instead of qualifying, I think what it is, isn't it? Instead of qualifying me to the product, I'm already at your dealership. Like, I'm there. I think I've qualified myself that I'm interested in a Toyota. Right?
Yes. Absolutely.
I think qualifying to where I am in my shopping process. Am I still doing research? Could be. Hell, I could have a printout and still be doing research. Am I shopping? Am I comparing a couple trucks? Could be. Or am I just like, no, I'm ready to go. You got a white one?
Yes. Yeah. You could be one of any of those three. Now, I think that that is more.
It's like a today's kind of needs analysis looks like.
Yes, but I agree with your point to we should be more conversational. We should be more human. A needs analysis 2-column T-chart.
It's robotic.
There's no human nature to that whatsoever. You're not going to tell what type of person I am by just asking and writing and asking and writing. There's no emotion at all. And yes, that is robotic, and that is not, I don't think, what people want.
No. I think
Unless
what
it's
it is
purely
is
the
they want
buyer.
to connect with someone. Well, exactly, right? They want to know. They want a real professional. They want a professional. Yes. They want a consultant.
Right.
All right. So if I'm telling you, I'll tell you, I'm shopping right now. Cool. What are we shopping? Mm-hmm. And I should be able, as a consultant, professionally know what everybody else is doing and what the other offers are and the other products are and stuff like that. And let me professionally help you through the shopping process.
That's it, man. The one thing that customers may or may not know that is truly in our benefit to I think, understand is our programs, at least from the desk's point of view, at the minimum, probably even salespeople, I would argue as well, is these manufacturers are getting a little screwy with more expensive car is leasing better than the less expensive trim within that model line. And that gets kind of weird, and that's tough to explain. And depending on where someone's coming from, they may not necessarily need more equipment, but to show them the right type of vehicle the first time, I think, is imperative as well. And even though they say they need an entry-level model, but they're leasing, why would we show them a $600 payment versus a $450 in the event that it has more equipment?
100%.
You know, so that's the professionalism.
That's being professional.
That's correct,
right?
Correct.
You know, but it's doing that. Okay, is coming from a place that you're intentfully wanting to serve that person. The kicker here is that we have to watch ourselves as an industry, that we're not just presenting more features and different trim models because it's in our benefit. Because that's, as an industry, how we have such a bad reputation.
100% agree. I'm only talking if that trim level literally is less expensive for the customer.
Oh,
and that's what I mean.
No,
like
I'll present a more expensive trim. Like, that's the thing I don't understand. Like, people are so afraid of, like, you know, presenting the most expensive trim. Like, no, just present it. I mean, look, the customer's going to make the decision at the end of the day. If anything, at least I did my job as a professional to educate them on that there are other things here. There are other features that they didn't know about.
Yep. Yeah, no doubt. I think that's with the scenario that I'm talking about, mainly we don't have this with Toyota, but when I was with Chrysler for 4.5 years, and I'm not kidding, a Jeep Cherokee, for instance, not the Grand Cherokee, but a Cherokee, entry-level sport model would literally be $150 more expensive on a lease payment than a Limited, which carries about, I want to say, a $13,000 increase in MSRP. That put their dealerships and their dealership salespeople and sales staff into a position where they shouldn't be in, and that's in the OEM's fault.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not this salesperson's fault. Now, should the managers know, and should we teach and coach our customer or our salespeople what the programs are? Absolutely. But some of these OEMs make their dealerships spend all their time on this ridiculous nonsense that shouldn't be and that really makes no sense.
Yeah.
That they're not focusing more so on what's more important is the customer interaction, being a professional and doing things the right way, which is what the customers want from you. But we get so much of our time taken in different avenues sometimes from the manufacturer that it's killing some people.
I know. You know what?
And I'm not talking shit because we need them, they need us, and in Toyota, quite frankly, is the best that I've worked for.
I would agree.
In terms of a partnership,
out of all of them out
bar
there,
none.
it's definitely one of the better ones.
Absolutely.
But you know, look, at the end of the day, it's still. I had a dealer principal the other day who was talking to me about their OEM, and there were several 4-letter words used during this conversation.
I'm sure.
And I'm just like, dude, at the end of the day, this is your business. This isn't theirs.
Correct.
Okay. If you feel like if you continue to follow the direction that they want you to follow in, and you're going to lose money, don't do it. You know, and I find this a lot on the marketing side, right?
Yeah.
Because what the manufacturers are focused on is volume.
Yes.
Dealerships are focused on profitability.
Yes.
Okay, so the manufacturer will market products that don't have profitability or very, very little.
Of course.
You know, so it's like,
They're a wholesaler.
Exactly. You know, I was with this Chrysler dealership the other day, and you know, they were like, "Well, we need to increase our gross profit per transaction." I said, "That's great. Look at what you're marketing right now. You are marketing the base model of every single trim that you have out there. So it's like, you know, kind of put that, actually, that's a good one. And I want to get your thoughts on this. Is operationally, I find that we operate kind of in silos. Like the parts department's over here, you know, the new car department's over there, the service department's over here, the used car manager wants to punch the service manager because the service manager charges too much for reconditioning, the new car manager wants to strangle the parts manager because, you know, he'll actually sell the parts for less over the counter but more to the actual new car department.
Sure.
Like,
I can't stand it.
I know. Like,
and it shouldn't be. I posted on LinkedIn, I think a few weeks ago, about this exact point. And I said that the minute that each department or each manager of each department, and then spills it down to their employees, realize that they would not be able to get anything accomplished without the other 2 or 3 departments, whether you have a body shop or not, 3 departments exist, the better off you're going to be. And the better off I think they're going to be. because nobody can do anything without the other. It is what it is. Now, who comes first, the sale or the service or whatever? The chicken before the egg. Nobody knows. In my mind, I don't even necessarily agree with sales sells the first one.
That's not how you operate a team.
No,
that's like first baseman is more important than third.
No, it's absolutely
but that's not.
Absolutely impossible to answer that question because they're one. We're one. We're together. You just happen to specialize in this area. I specialize in this, but no one's out to get anybody, or they shouldn't be, because the dealer, bottom line, is going to suffer from that, and you're only going to make things worse. We didn't have to, but we do talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
And the biggest one between that I've seen the majority of the time in my career is the used car manager or manager and the service department.
Oh yeah, they just straight up hate each other.
Yes. Yes.
So I was at a new client, and as like for most new clients, I'll always offer, hey, if you ever want me to come and jam with your team, if you just want to get a fresh set of eyes outside, looking at your operations, what's going on, do that. Yeah. So I get invited to a lot of manager meetings, and this is a relatively new client, and I go into this manager meeting, and I don't say anything the first time I'm there. I'm just here to consume, and if you got a question, I'll help, whatever, but, I just want to take it all in, right? And I hate to see this, but I've seen more of this lately than I'd like. It's the owner or the general manager literally pinning the departments against each other.
What? No.
Have you seen this?
No.
You've never seen this, where it's like they'll push. It's like, well, over in the service department, we're doing this, and John's doing a great job. I mean, our profitability has never been better. I don't know what's going on in the new car department, but hey, you're going to have to, you know what I mean?
I haven't thought about dividing your departments in that way. So, yes, I have heard that.
Okay, you've seen that before?
They are thinking it's motivation to the other department to mirror up or match up to the one that's doing better than them. But, yeah you're right. That would just cause issues. I mean, that would cause resentment where you're going to hate. Your parties involved are going to hate each other.
Yeah.
So why will you? Oh man.
You tie that in, and then you tie into some of the communications or lack of communications against the different departments, right?
Of course.
Now on the flip side of that, all right, I was in another dealership. There was a manager meeting, and 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, all right, all of the managers eat lunch together.
Love it.
That's just. It's not to talk shop. Like, it's not a meeting per se of like, let's review stuff. It is just literally, let's break bread together.
Love that.
Right?
1,000%. Absolutely love it. We, once in a while, and I want to do this more than I should, but I heard this idea many, many, many years ago. How about a manager from one department take out to lunch a non-manager from another department? So not even manager to manager.
Yeah.
How about your sales manager take out a technician?
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
What kind of dynamic would that conversation be? Because the conversation between tech and sales manager doesn't happen that often.
I don't like this whole silo thing going on, and I like that. That's a really good idea. We got to figure out hacks on how to break the silo down. And it's like I find I was talking to a dealer principal the other day, and I said, well, that's cool. When you meet with your departments, like, do you meet with everybody at once, or do you do? He goes, no. Well, I'll meet with the sales team, the salespeople, the sales managers, GSMs, all of them first. Then I'll go meet with the service team. I said, well, there's a problem right there.
Yeah, that's coming from us.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah,
I think a lot of it comes from our own doing. We try to get everybody together as most we can. At the very least, if I want to have a quick one. I usually do managers only, but together we actually talk about.
Yeah.
You need to love him. You don't have to be best friends outside of work, but you need him or her to survive, and vice versa. And the better you guys work, the smoother every transaction will be.
100%.
And then even further than that, it's going to be that much easier for the customer.
Yeah.
Because if you guys don't get along, and someone's buying, I don't know, an accessory for a vehicle they're buying, and the parts department just doesn't want to order it because they're pissed off because the used car manager was screaming and yelling about how long it took for a car to be reconditioned to get to, the front line.
It happens.
Well, then that parts person or manager probably is going to not order that part.
Yeah.
Because they're just pissed off for the last conversation.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. You know, there's no reason for that, because anybody and everybody should be helping each other together. Although we only get paid on our own doings, it's just not the right thing to do either.
No, we just have to get everyone to work together, and we need the entire dealership to see everybody as the entire dealership. I have this other dealership. You'd really like this. The first Saturday and second Saturday of every single month, the owner makes pancakes for the entire dealership.
He physically makes them?
Physically makes them, which that I thought was
in
really...
the shop or something?
Yeah, he does it in the shop, and he sets up, I don't know, I think it's like maybe almost 8 folding tables, and it is like straight up just family style.
Love
and it's like, you know, it's 8 folding tables, literally just lined up all the way down the...
Plates and pancakes.
Yeah, plates and pancakes.
I absolutely love it.
And he gets in at 6 a.m. and starts making... Yeah, he says he gets in about 5:30 to 6 a.m.
What's his turnover?
And they're doing not a lot.
Yeah, freaking
not
zero.
Yeah.
No, I don't doubt that.
I'm like, the power of pancakes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But you know, I can tell his, just by that one store, I can tell his turnover is 0 or close to it, because that's not the only thing he does.
Oh no, 100%.
He doesn't just do pancakes and then he's a complete
thing.
Dick to everybody.
Yep, that's just very one thing. It just shows it's a physical way of just who he is as a person.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. That's a guy that people want to work for.
Well, he understands that his business, his entire business, his entire family's net worth and livelihood is because these people.
Yes.
And I think it's amazing that he goes, and he does it. He doesn't bring somebody in. I mean, this is a guy that could easily pay somebody just to come in and make pancakes.
Right, of course.
He's like, nope, I make the pancakes.
Which is worth its own weight in gold to his employees, which should be the most important over customers, in my mind.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Well, I mean, look, if you, and I hear this a lot, right? Treat your customers like family.
Yep.
Okay. How the hell are you treating your employees like family? That's what you know what I mean?
Yep.
I've never met an owner and they'll say, oh, we treat our customers like they're family.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, I've seen how you treated your family. I don't know if I'll...
Yeah. Well, yeah, right. So it's just a blanket fake statement.
It is. It's just a BS. It's just...
Yeah.
It's like, we're number one in CSI.
Yeah. If you're not treating your employees correctly, then they are not treating your customers correctly, whether you want to admit it or not.
I agree. So the whole big theme is like, how do we create a customer experience, right? Well, that experience comes from your people, right? If you think that customer experience is that, we make people feel invited and warm, like they're coming into our house and this is our home and we're welcoming them, and you're not doing that with your employees, there ain't no way in hell, I don't care who it is, there ain't no way in hell that your employees are doing that to their customers.
No. One of the worst things I had to do, but it made the biggest difference of almost any move that I've ever made with employment. This is relatively recent. We had the best year in service in parts that we've had ever, and we had the best month singularly that we've ever had also in October of 2019, just this past year.
That's awesome.
Thanks. You would think, looking at a statement, that everything was great.
Yeah.
That everything was running real well. That everyone was happy and all this, like we were talking about. December, I fired the service manager. Because solely of the treatment from him to his employees.
Yep.
To our employees, to our service personnel.
Yep.
It was not a good cultural fit, and some things were done that were making the employees in the service department really just hate their job.
Yeah.
So to walk into somebody and say, "Listen, man, I'm letting you go." What are you talking about?
Literally, like
we just made a ton of money. Yeah, I said, well, I don't care if we made $100.
Yeah.
People are very upset being here.
Yeah.
And that's not good with me. I am not okay with that. And I can't allow that to happen on our watch. So we'll figure it out. And I was nervous, obviously. I knew I had to make the move, and that's the right thing to do by my customer, by our employment staff. But I was nervous, like, oh shit, what am I going to do? We're in a small area. Finding another capable body as a service manager is not going to be easy. I'm not even kidding. Within 3-4 days of him being let go, I had about 5 people come into my office, say, can I talk to you, Dust? Absolutely. Say, I know we're going through a rough time. You don't understand what that did for everybody. If there's anything we can do to help, we got you.
They appreciate it because they felt like you were looking out for them. That's what I'm saying.
They said, we got you.
Yeah. Like,
I said, no, I got, no. And then everybody just got each other. And then
it's a beautiful thing.
Overnight, it's like, this is the greatest place to be, and everyone's so happy, and I can just feel it and hear it. Our CSI went through the roof in the first month of January. It was not bad even to begin with, but it was tremendous, and everybody's just in a great mood. They're laughing and joking. Now they're working, but it just is like this weight was lifted off, yes, because of that, they're like, man, we just came together, and everybody's going to pitch in just this much more, and we'll even do better than when we had a manager.
Yeah.
So I don't have a manager still. Month and a half, and I'm not even worried about it.
Isn't that crazy?
I'm not even worried about it.
But that's what happens when you're able to create that culture and you treat people like humans, right? Not employees, right? They're other human beings. They're not there just to serve. You know, that's the other thing too, and that's what I find. It's a big differentiating factor between managers and leaders. All right, leaders understand that they work for their team.
Oh, yeah.
All right. You know, I find a lot of managers, because they think they're managing people, that those people work for them.
No way.
You know?
Those people work for their families that are at home.
Exactly.
That's their responsibility.
Like,
our responsibility is to make sure our employees are given the tools and set up on a platter.
Yeah.
To
and
perform as hard as they can.
direction. They need to give that direction.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. You're spot on with that, bro. I'm telling you. But it's disappointing because, I mean, how many hours do we work in this business? How much ups and downs are there? You know,
right?
How many times are we on cloud 9 and then we go into the shitter and back and forth and all this other stuff?
The roller coaster?
Yeah. The last thing we need is to then be treated like a piece of shit too.
Yes.
In the midst of all this sales, and especially automotive, is not easy.
Dude, I remember, did you ever hear this saying? I remember hearing it a lot. You're only as good as your last month.
Yeah, of course. It's like, the talk.
That's horrible.
It's so bad.
Like, if you think about it, that's horrible.
It is so bad.
Like, I mean, think if you ran a professional sports team like that. Like, well, you're only as good as your last month.
Yeah,
I mean,
or even year for that matter.
People are like, we're sitting here questioning why we have this revolving door. I'm like, are you serious?
Yes.
Why do you think we have a revolving door? We're only as good as our last month. Like, come on. That's
but that's on ourselves, and it's just, I think a lot of people are afraid to try to do something that's against the grain, break the mold, and do something that hasn't been done ever.
Yeah.
Which has changed the mindset to, okay, close the books on a particular month. It's not good. You don't show profit. Maybe you lose money. Whatever the case is, gather your team and say, boys and girls, we had a shitty fucking month. Anybody have an idea why? And then I'm going to tell you why I think, and then we're just going to figure it out. We're going to fix it.
Well,
but come together and just fix it. That's all.
Yes. If you're focused on the efforts and not necessarily the results, look, sometimes, we go out to play the game, all right, and the team literally, there's nothing left in the tank. They left it all on the field, right? And doesn't necessarily mean the results are going to be there.
Absolutely right.
I mean, how many times does a team go out there and they don't? I mean, I just got done watching the Super Bowl. Do you think either one of those teams had the intention of holding anything back?
Yeah, right.
Not a chance.
Right. You can't be disappointed.
That's
if you give it 100% of you. Yes.
Exactly. So I feel like if we stop focusing on those results, we focus on their efforts, and we get our players, we get our salespeople, we get everybody in the dealership to leave everything out on the field.
Yeah.
Then there's nothing to be upset about. There's no reason. The only time I ever get upset with myself or my team is when I don't think we gave it our all.
I think that's a great way to think.
Right? If I held back on something and I was just like, I finished my day, I'm like, I didn't empty the tank. There's still stuff in there.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a good day.
Yeah. Can you look at yourself? The whole adage. Can you look at yourself and say, I gave it everything?
Yeah.
When no one's around, right? Not verbalize it, but just talk in your own head when you're looking at yourself. That's a great point, and that's a really good mindset. And because that's what you promote, you probably get everything from your people. Yeah. If that's the focus.
Well, and then
because nothing can stop. You don't have to be talented to give effort. You don't have to have any talent to outwork the person to your left and to your right.
That's right.
That's a great point.
And the cool thing is that when we have that mentality with our employees, we get our employees to have that mentality for themselves. Guess what? That trickles down all the way to the customer.
Yes.
I always think like we're always trying to create these customer-centric experiences, but the customer-centric experiences starts with our people. Like it starts with us. It's not like for some odd reason we think like there's this, this diet pill, or this, this silver bullet, this thing. There's this coffee shop I'm going to put in my dealership, or this massaging chair I'm going to put in this dealership, or this new coffee machine that does double espresso cappuccinos with soy lattes.
Right. Right. That's going to change your culture.
Like that's going to change
your experience.
Like, it's not. Right?
Yeah, right. Because they're going to make this beautiful coffee, and then someone's going to come over to them and be the rudest person on the face of the planet and insult them. And that coffee's going to taste a hell of a lot worse based on what one of your employees say to them. Absolutely. Yeah, experience is not a freaking cup.
No
doubt.
There's just, and that's at the end of the day. I mean, I love this industry. This industry has given me so much opportunity. It has allowed me to provide for my family and create a family, and it's like absolutely anytime I can ever jam with somebody else like-minded, and we can, if one person, I'm not looking for 100,000. If one person saw this and they go, that's a really good idea, I really like, what Dustin said, I think I can probably do that at my dealership, and it makes
how cool is that?
Dude, it's amazing.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Isn't that the coolest thing in the world?
Absolutely is. And that was one of the biggest parts I started actually putting my own posts up there, is because we can only help us in retail. We can only help the people that work in our building.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's our audience.
Yep.
But if we have some good idea and we put it out there, thousands of people instantly can see this or hear this or read this. Shit, maybe we could be helping each other. Now I take shit that I found on LinkedIn and it's in the dealership.
Dude,
I have vendors that are in my store now from the last few months. It's a great avenue, and I like LinkedIn better than others.
I think
because
so
I think it's more about, let's just get down to the business. Let's talk about business.
Well, it's our passion. Our passion's business.
Correct.
So you're on there. Your passion's business. We're able to connect, and it's
really all that I see now. I hope it never goes a different route.
Well, it's fun to throw a little thing in there every once in a while. Like I'll throw a little thing every once in a while.
Funny.
Like, just bought my new orange shoes. Check them out.
But that's also your business.
I know that's right. People,
know what I'm saying. So, and yes, if it's every 50th post, okay, fine. But people's, we're not talking stupid shit like other avenues. So.
Well, Dustin,
I appreciate
man, thank
it,
you so
brother.
much.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.